Hey everybody, how you doing today? Bob Vokes here from the Gilly Glue. Out in the shop today. Got a bunch of things we want to do. One, I got to put that tire on my road bike so I can get it on the trainer to get ready for spring. Kind of been slacking lately, so I got to get going. But we want to talk about bird counts. We want to talk about a lot of different things that are taking place at this time of year, sneaking up to Christmas. Last night we saw a fantastic presentation by Michael Runts at our McNamara Field Naturalist Club, and it got me thinking. They were promoting the bird counts and things that are coming up. So we have 4 bird counts that happen locally in the Almonte, Arnprior, Pakenham, Carleton Place areas, and including Ottawa Gatineau as well. So I wanted to mention those as well. But one of the big things that came out of last night was the steep history and the tremendous amount of respect and knowledge that's in the area for as naturalists and as conservationists and as living in one with nature. And as you know, that's a lot. I talk a lot about that all the time. So last night, Michael Runts talked about beavers and why they're so important to us, and why they fit into our ecology and fit into the ecology of many, many, many other plants and animals, and how they benefit those plants and animals, and including us. There was tons of stuff. You get a chance to read his book about beavers. It's a well worth the read. But one of the things that came out of last night was the bird counts, of course. McNamara Field Naturalist Club has been around since 1984, with roots dating back into the 1800s. Charles McNamara was born in 1881 and was instrumental in conservation and naturalists in and around the Arnprior, Pakenham areas through his lifetime. And the club is then therefore named after him. So Charles McNamara was born in 1881, died in 1944. And then the Field Naturalist Club has been doing tremendous work since 1984. Then we have the Mississippi Valley Field Naturalist based out of Almonte, Ontario, which kind of covers another region of Carleton Place, Almonte, and into Pakenham, whereas Arnprior Club does sort of Arnprior, White Lake, and into Pakenham, covers kind of both areas. Much larger scope than that as well. And then we have the Ottawa Field Naturalist Clubs that's been around since the late 1800s, is well over 100 years old, dating back to actually to a gentleman. If you get a chance to look up former staff writer for the Ottawa Citizen, Randy Boswell, has a fantastic story and a fantastic research that he's done on a fellow by the name of Ed Van Coltart, who was in the city of Ottawa in the mid to late 1800s and did enormous amounts of work in terms of naturalists and conservationists and study and things that we still kind of date back today. He has still some works in some museums in the United States, and some findings and fossils and things that he found that's in the museums and stuff in Toronto. So a fantastic amount of work that's done locally. So why do I bring that up? Well, I really wanted to talk to you today about it because it gives us a great opportunity to become involved, not only as an individual but as a family. And it's so important to start to convey this kind of information to our kids, because they're the next people coming through. So I'm thinking about it myself a great deal more. My kids grew up with it, but I'm now having some grandchildren. I have one granddaughter and a soon-to-be grandson. So we're pretty excited about that, and then I'll get to take them fishing. Found some pictures. So I really wanted to talk about getting yourself involved in the Christmas bird counts. There's 4 counts that happen locally, as mentioned, always around Christmas. So there's a Boxing Day count. There's one on the 27th of December. And if you wanted to find out more information about those, Google all the Field Naturalist Clubs. So it's Mississippi Valley Field Naturalist, McNamara Field Naturalist, and the Ottawa Field Naturalist. They kind of encompass our whole area. There's 4 counts that work out of Mississippi Valley Field Naturalist and the Arnprior McNamara Field Naturalist. And so they're always looking for volunteers to help out, not only with the club, but with the Christmas bird counts. If you want to get involved in the clubs, absolutely a fantastic thing to do. There's an enormous amounts of knowledge and camaraderie and fellowship with like-minded individuals that want to participate in nature and be part of nature, as we all are. So you can Google those clubs. There's lots of information on where you can find out, when you can find out, and who to contact about the Christmas counts. But why do we have Christmas counts? Why do we count birds? And be involved in any other sort of form of conservation and naturalists? Well, it's a comprehensive amount of data collection that's been happening over the last 100 years, basically, in the area, where all of this data has been collected on this. So it's supposed to be a 24-hour window that these bird counts take place. Most of the time, it's sort of first thing in the morning through to late afternoon, and then everybody gets together and compiles their information. If you can't get out to the counts, you're most welcome to sit in your house and count at your bird feeder throughout the day, or pick a stretch of time, say from 7:30 in the morning till 9:30 in the morning. You're going to count every bird and bird species that comes to your feeder. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's a fantastic way to contribute to the bird counts, and so that you can have information that's going to go forward. So what happens with this data collection? Why are we wanting to collect data, and what purpose does it serve? Well, it serves a tremendous purpose on identifying some issues with species, on identifying some issues with habitat loss, identifying things in terms of climate change and the differences that take place, because there's weather that's recognized and documented those days, all types of things. So we're following different species along through year to year to year to year, and all of that data can be compiled and then analyzed to determine change. Now, obviously, we're seeing tons and tons of change. There's species around, you've heard me talk about it, there's species in this area throughout each year over the last few years that are never here. All these storms that are taking place, we've talked about that in previous videos, where there's, the storms that have been affecting migration and those things. So data collection, Christmas bird counts go a long way to do that. So one example that I like to talk about quite frequently is the fact that robins, red-winged blackbirds, some thrushes, some thrashers, all kinds of different things are staying all winter now. Certainly in the southwestern Ontario, the climate is different there than here in the Ottawa area. So there's tons and tons of birds that are staying there that aren't migrating to the normal places like South America and Mexico and the lower US and those places. So this data collection starts to compile, and it shows a trend. So it can be graphed, or it can be looked at, it can be seen by numbers. So robins, red-winged blackbirds, for instance, of the last several years have been one of the most counted birds at our Christmas bird counts in various areas, along with other birds that, like right now, in the last little bit, there's been a hummingbird from California that's been in and around Carleton Place. As a female that is completely out of its area. We had the Bullock's Oriole in Pakenham a couple years ago. We right now in Ottawa, we have two warblers. One warbler that's completely uncommon to the area is here still in this weather, and then we have one yellow-rumped warbler that is quite common to the area in the normal seasons, but it's still in the area. And there's the big reason why we're here and why what we're doing at the Gilly Glue, we're wanting to enhance not only the soulfulness of birding for us and for our customers, but to have a comprehensive review and look at what's in your backyard on a regular basis. People come in the store all the time and talk to us about, oh, I saw this at my feeder, oh, I saw that at my feeder. And that's the thing that we're really trying to do, and that's why we're here and why we're working on it, why we talk about our high quality products and why it makes a difference.